Okay, welcome back to all of our audience here at airplanehunters.org. And Scott Knox and I are here in Canada, and we're going to speak now with Gustav Fredriksson, and his son Albert is in the background there. How you doing, Albert? Gustav, we've got this beautiful boat called River Thames. She's all yours, and she's going to be the flagship, the salvage vessel that we're using. Gustav, great to have you on board. Thanks very much for coming on.
Thank you, Carl.
Yeah, and so here we are talking from Canada to Denmark, and then we're all going to meet in Sweden in August. And tell me a little bit, just a short description of, you got the River Thames from England and brought it over to Norway and Denmark, and now it's Sweden. But tell me a little bit about the River Thames, and remind me, how the heck did we meet so that we could end up on a team of Canadians and Danes and Swedes? How did we end up doing that?
Yeah, well, it's it's a few years back now, but I remember we met up in Bagenkop, southern Langeland, when we first took the River Thames out to look for an airplane. And after that, I think that we found out that we worked together pretty well, and that we would like to continue that work on the Sweden Halifax. Yeah, well, the vessel was brought back from England almost 15 years ago. I found her on the internet, and I just instantly fell in love with that vessel and had to bring her back and start rebuilding her. Now the picture is a few years old, so we have added a hydraulic crane on her since then, and many other modifications. So right, in only 4 weeks, we should be ready to go.
Well, that's great. And you know, this winter, when you and Albert and the rest of your helpers like Niels, you got made improvements to the vessel, because you knew we were going to be out there for 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks in August this summer. And so now tell me about this beautiful hydraulic system that you put in, and we can show a picture of the master control of the hydraulic system for the rudder. And tell me about putting that in, and what the heck did you have to do to get this beautiful hydraulic system so the River Thames could turn on a dime?
Yeah, well, last time we went for the Halifax, we had to fight like 2-meter high waves, and going to be precise on a position, we really had to fight with the big oak steering wheel that you see on the picture. So we figured out that we needed some kind of power steering, and that's almost an impossible project to add on to an old vessel like this. But we went to the shipbreaker in Denmark, and we found some old stuff that almost had the same age as the vessel, so it pretty much fitted. But we still needed to cut in, to tie in on the existing hydraulic piping. And we had to build up a control box, an electrical control box with steering relays, and then we found this tiller handle with port and starboard, also at the shipbreaker. And then we just spent hours and hours and fit it all together. And well, almost first time we started it up, it just seemed to be working. So that was very nice. Yeah.
Gustav, does it operate a thruster, or is it just the rudder itself?
Yeah, the ship was built with what we call hand hydraulic steering. So that's just a rudder, just a big steel plate right behind the propeller, and the steering wheel works as a hydraulic pump. So when you turn the wheel, you pump oil down to the rudder motor. And that's very hard work, because you need to turn the wheel like 15 times when you go from full port to full starboard. Right. And that's why we fitted this pump system that is run by the main engine, and then a control valve.
Excellent, excellent.
Tell us about this this special diving ladder. And what we've done is Gustav built up this diving ladder and it hangs over the side because we know there's rough weather. And so to have this fancy, extra safe diving ladder is good. We'll show, Gustav, we're going to show you this image. We had to use a stop image of the Niels rotating the diving ladder over the side of the River Thames. And we could show that now with the sequence. And then everybody can see how the ladder can be stowed straight up or dropped into the water for the ladder to be down, and then the divers operate. How did you get that done?
Well, I had some help from a workshop, and I made the drawing. And you see a diving ladder is a little special from a regular ladder because you need to be able to climb up the ladder with your swimming fins on still. And that's why it also needs to have a sort of distance from the hull. So you can see that the ladder is kept like 35 centimeters from the ship hull so that the fins will not go into the side of the ship when you climb.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, safety, I'm really concerned about that. And, you know, we've got Albert's friend, Liam. He's been training as a diver. How old is Liam?
He is 17 years now.
Oh, cool. Okay. So we could use, Liam can slowly be brought into the diving team and he can help us and with the diving crew.
He definitely can. I mean, he has been investing in his own diving equipment and he's been training and he's actually been cleaning the ship hull this spring. So he knows what it means to be working underwater, and I'm sure he's ready to do a good job over there.
Well, that's great. And, you know, all of these improvements from the Danish team for the River Thames, now that we know that Mother Nature can kick us in the teeth anytime she wants when we're out there, tell us about that. Just one more thing. Can you give us, say, 30 seconds of anchor point that we had to build so that even in high waves, the River Thames could stay in one spot? What was involved in making that anchor point?
Well, 2 years ago out there, when we needed to use a fixed anchor point there, we could not just use the ship anchor because the chain would be damaging the wreck. So we had to make a special anchor point, a dedicated anchor point with a buoy. And we got two 500-kilo concrete blocks, and we got a lot of old steel chain and steel bars. And we fixed all that up together, and we brought it on board with the hydraulic crane. And then we went out there and dropped it into the water. And then we had to put some divers down to tie it all up together. And even then we reinforced it with some, you say, improvised steel anchors that we welded up together and added on to that anchor point. So I'm sure it's still out there, ready to be holding the ship in a good position in August.
Sure. And, you know, I watched you taking all of this and putting it together, and then we hauled it all out to the anchor point. And folks, you don't want 500 or 1,000 pounds, 400 kilos of steel chain laying over your Halifax aircraft when you're trying to salvage Halifax. So it had to be done carefully. You did a good job. 2019, we did a great recon dive and got started. And then COVID be damned. We lost the year 2020, but 2021, we're going to have 2 to 3 weeks out there, and we'll do our best. And just wanted to say thank you to Gustav, you and Albert for busting your buns all winter to get ready for this summer. And we'll report back with you, have another conversation. There's a lot of people following this, man, because this is a super historic airplane. So thank you very much. And Scott, do you have anything else? Did you have any other questions? We're getting towards the end of our program now.
Yeah, just a quick question, Gustav. So with your anchor point, If the winds change and they push the boat over the wreck site, how do you keep the chains from sweeping through the wreck site?
Yeah, that's exactly the point why we made this special anchor point, because if you imagine that you have on the seabed, you have the concrete blocks and the steel anchors, and from there you go with a chain to the water, to the surface of the water, where you place a big buoy to keep this piece of chain lifted
Okay.
almost vertically through the waters. And from
Okay.
that point, you can connect the vessel so that your anchor chain will go like this and not like this, like it normally does.
Right on. Okay, that's perfect. I have a clear picture in my mind now. Thank you. That's clear. That's great.
Sure. And there's a multitude of factors here, and you can see from Jan Christensen last week and Gustav this week with the River Thames, all of this has to work in harmony for us to uncover our Halifax. And I think we've got a great team. So folks, we're going to sign off here pretty quick, but I wanted to let you know next week, we're going to talk with the Vice President, our main man, Dan Fox, at our headquarters, the Bomber Command Museum of Canada. And this will be the final home of our Halifax after rebuild. So we want to talk about the home of the Halifax in Nanton, Alberta, at the Bomber Command Museum. So stay tuned for that. And I see that our time is almost up. So once again, thank you, gentlemen. Let's keep rolling, and we'll see you in Sweden at the end of July, start of August, okay?
Nice to
Okay,
meet you
great.
guys.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you.
Gustav. See ya. So thanks, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Great.
Take care.
Take care.